Welcome to the second episode of Talking Cricket with Aakash. Today, Aakash Chopra will talk to us about the Indian squad that has been selected to take on Australia for the first two test matches. Aakash, getting right into it, what are your thoughts about this selection? More specifically, what about the openers?
The team for the first two test matches has been picked. There have been a couple of surprises, a couple of bold decisions, primarily with regards to the opening combination, because this is the first time in the recent past, I think ever since Gautam Gambhir took place of Jaffer in 2008, this is the only time that he's been dropped. Previously, there were instances where these two didn't open together. That was Sehwag and Gambhir, but that was only because of the unavailability of one of them. But this time, it's different. This time, when India goes out to bat, there will be an opening combination of Vijay and Sehwag, and there won't be any Gambhir. So there is some serious changing happening in Indian cricket, and I think this is a bold move, but a right move nevertheless. So I think both openers are strictly put on notice that if you don't perform, you end up perishing. Times are changing, and I think while there is a lot of criticism of this selection committee with regards to not picking Jaffer or picking Dhawan and Vijay ahead of Jaffer, I think we'll have to hand it to this committee because they have shown some vision. They have clearly marked a few individuals for a certain role, and they are willing to back them. Vijay was there with the Indian team for the tour when England were here in India last time around. He was the reserved opener, so they have persisted with him despite him not getting too many runs in Ranji Trophy. Dhawan has been outstanding this Ranji Trophy season. He started with a bang, got a lot of runs even before the Ranji Trophy began. His form dipped a bit in the Ranji Trophy, but still he has been persisted with. So it tells you clearly that this selection committee is thinking forward.
But there's a strong case to be made that Shikhar Dhawan has been rewarded with a test match squad spot just because he's performed well in the limited over matches. Is that really fair?
There was a strong case of Shikhar Dhawan suited only for the shorter formats because he's a natural stroke player. He's done well in shorter formats, whether it's the IPL or List A cricket. And he gives you the impression that he's like the right guy to be playing the shorter formats. But then he's scored runs in the first class circuit. He's been on the India tours quite a few times. So he's been looked at as someone who could be a potential opener in the test format too. And we'll have to acknowledge that the way people bat these days in test cricket has changed massively. There is a radical change, a paradigm shift in the way batsmen tend to approach a test innings. And perhaps that's something of Sehwag's doing because he changed the role of an opener. So Shikhar Dhawan is someone who will be very aggressive, who will be attacking, who will be scoring fluently. But then we'll only get to know whether he has the technique and the temperament to last or succeed in Test cricket. Still, I'd say thumbs up for the selection committee to give Shikhar Dhawan a go.
Now, moving down the batting order a little, coming to the much talked about number 6 slot. And allow me to ask this question by reading out a tweet to you. This is by @Pravs Pandey, who asks, what according to you should the number 6 position in Test matches be for? Should it be for an all-rounder or a specialist batsman?
Well, number 6 is an important position. I think number 6 is that bridge between the top order and the lower order or the bowlers, and he plays a pivotal role, especially when you're playing overseas, when you're playing in trying conditions where you are likely to lose a few wickets at the top, and then you'll need someone to have a solid technique and the temperament to bat with the lower order, and should have the ability to use the long handle also once in a while. So I think it's a very important position. But then I'd rather go with a batsman. If you have a decent bowling lineup, because most teams play about 4 bowlers, and if they are good enough, they should be able to take 20 odd wickets. And number 6, then I'll go with a proper batsman. But in India's case, things have changed a bit because our bowling is quite inexperienced. So again, in my humble opinion, I think Dhoni will actually go ahead with Ravindra Jadeja at 7. He'll promote himself at 6, and which will give him another bowling option, which will work absolutely fine in India. There will be no problem with it. But come South Africa, will Jadeja will be good enough to score runs, or will his left-arm spin be effective there? It still remains to be seen. Number 6 has been the most debated number in Indian cricket since Saurav Ganguly called it quits. We have tried quite a few. We started with Yuvraj Singh, went to Suresh Raina, then Virat Kohli came in, went back to Suresh when Virat was promoted in the batting order, and then Yuvraj Singh again. So it's been a game of musical chairs for way too long, and that is, I think, primarily because nobody has actually scored enough runs there to give us any kind of serious confidence. So now I think this selection tells you that the selectors are looking ahead. They are looking beyond the likes of Raina and Yuvraj Singh for Test cricket, and they're also looking ahead to the tour of South Africa, New Zealand, and then England. Perhaps that's why Rahane comes in. But it still remains to be seen whether it will be Rahane who gets the captain's nod, or will it be Jadeja who will be preferred over a proper batsman or a main batsman.
Another topic of discussion was obviously Harbhajan Singh's comeback. Is that a step backwards?
Harbhajan Singh's inclusion surprises me a bit because he hasn't really done anything of note in Ranji Trophy cricket, Irani Trophy cricket, or even when he had gone to England. So when he was dropped for the first time, common sense would tell you that he should take a lot of wickets and get back into the Indian team, but that hasn't happened. But still, he's managed his way back into the Indian team. And it has happened because of two reasons. One, there is a serious paucity of good quality spinners in the country. If you leave these three aside, Ashwin, Ojha and Harbhajan Singh, you can only go as far as an Amit Mishra, maybe a Piyush Chawla, but that's where your search ends. So it tells you that the cupboard is quite bare, and hence Harbhajan Singh still looks like a very good option. And two, his record at home, especially against the Aussies. He's always done well against the Australians when they've played in India. I can't say the same for him when India is toured to Australia, but at home he's been an outstanding bowler. So maybe that has played in his favour, that has tilted the balance in his favour, and he's got the nod. But now it remains to be seen whether he'll get a game straight away or he'll have to wait for his 100th test match.
Since we have just about enough time for one more, I'll ask you a question from a tweet sent to you by @Dectroderen. It's about Badrinath's chances. Why has he been neglected, and why is it that he's not getting a chance in spite of performing consistently well at the domestic level?
Well, I call it the curious case of Badrinath. This guy has scored tons of runs in domestic cricket. He's someone who's technically compact, who has the temperament to bat for long hours, and is perhaps ideally suited for that number 5, number 6 slot in Test match cricket. But unfortunately, while everyone else has been looked as a candidate, Badrinath has been left behind. He's getting the runs, he's doing whatever a player can do, but then I'd say it's a travesty of justice when it comes to Subramaniam Badrinath. My heart goes out for him, but that's all I can say. I know it is not going to suffice, but this is where we are. Unfortunately, Badrinath seemed to have missed the bus for no apparent reason.
Unfortunately, that's all we have time for this week. Keep tweeting with the hashtag Talking Cricket with Aakash, and we'll select some of your tweets and I'll put them forward to Aakash Chopra himself. I'm Arya Yuyutsu, and this is Cricket Aakash.